I normally would start my live streams off by saying, "What is good, my people, my peeps?" That's how I normally start my live streams off. But I have to break from the norm right about now because I'm so upset. Um, my goodness, distraught, saddened. Before I came on live, I literally have not cried like I cried before I came on to speak to you all. This this live stream is not necessarily regarding gang stalking because on my channel I don't only speak about gang stalking. I speak about situations and issues that are going on in the world today and what affects us as people and as nations of people. So my voice may crack. I may sound stopped up because I literally have not cried like this in a long time. I've been sitting back and I've been watching what has been taking place regarding my people as Israel, formerly known as Black people, Negroes. I have come on my platform um, several times. So, with me speaking out tonight won't be me jumping on any bandwagon of any sort. This is what I have said before, and I saw this coming, and it's only getting worse. So, you've seen the title. I asked, are Black men in 2023, are they with Second Ezra 5:8? Are they who he was speaking, what this book was speaking about? And so I'll read it to you. And then I'll tell you why I'm so upset, and I just see this pot boiling over. Um, and I feel that, it might be just too late, and we will have to see what is to come of Israel, formerly known as Black people. Second Ezra 5:8. There should be confusion also in many places, and fire shall be sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change places, and menstruating women shall bring forth monsters. And so I read that and I saw that, and monsters. I have never seen such an attack like there has been an attack on Black women. And what saddens me, what literally brought me to sobbing tears tonight, was the fact of my people, the men of my nation, being so willing to attack the Black women of their own nation, their own people, literally like gangs of men in their minds have decided to succumb to this madness. And for me, I've seen the progression. I've seen and I've understood, I've seen where men were providers and protectors and stood up as I choose to call them warriors, right? I don't know what to call these men other than what I've seen or what I read in 2nd Esdras 5:8. But monsters. Are these the men, the black men? Monsters that this Bible speaks about. They are literally, it's as if they have lost their mind. I'm gonna I've tried to sit back. I've tried to not even, address the gender wars anymore because I've said what I could say about that, and wherever my voice landed, whomever came across my platform, hopefully the words that came out of my mouth blessed them to understand that we were headed down a slippery slope with these gender wars, and especially with Israel, black on black crime to the fullest, where I tried to forewarn. I truly did. But I know I don't have a substantial platform, and I appreciate the people who have joined and follow me for various reasons. But I could see what was coming. And I know that it is not far from even being over. You see, this is just the second level. And there is going to be many levels to this. First, it was only online, this back and forth. And the seeds were sown in young men's minds of heights and levels that most of them would never achieve. And this is not to belittle anyone. It is just factual. And the seeds that were sown into these young black malleable minds that may have been dealing with hurt, trauma. Well, you see, they were also fed lies, fed statistical lies that they never once looked up, never once went and researched for themselves. You see, so now we're dealing with the backlash of men who are on a rampage. But that rampage and the many platforms that have sown those seeds are slowly being dismantled, you see. But it's a little too late for the dismantling of, well, corrupt farmers, I guess I could call them. We've seen the dismantling start with Fresh and Fit and these other red pill podcasters, men who have sown hatred into the minds of young, impressionable black men. And some of these crops have grown up very fast, rapidly. Tonight, what brought me to tears, literally sobbing like I have not sobbed before in a long time, was the last. And I can't say that it was the last case that I've heard, but just another case of many. But this case is recent, where a black woman simply rejected the advancements or the how can I say, simply saying no to offering her a telephone number to a black man. Something as simple as saying no, that, she's not interested. And having several black men stand around to witness this man being so offended by her being able to say, no, was not interested, and did not want to give this man her phone number, where he literally picked up a brick and started to beat her in the face with this brick. Where have we come but other than second Esdras, where women have brought forth monsters? And I do believe that these monsters are not just only in the black community, but this is where the seeds have been sown. And their beastly ways are being projected across these social media platforms. So tonight I'm going to go into maybe just letting you hear what she has to say, because it's getting to the point to where I may talk about it, other women may talk about it, but it's truly going to be the Most High who is going to have to correct this behavior. We talk about, there's a separation within Israel. And the majority of Israel will not make it into, the kingdom. They won't be able to elevate themselves. And so they'll be cut off, right? Well, I hear that about how they'll be cut off. But then I also hear about these men who are Israel. And one thing, it seems like a lot of them have focused their thoughts and their willingness to follow the Most High, and it has become only because of sex. I know most people don't speak about this, but I see this. It it is almost become like a cult like worshiping the Most High only because of their rewards, and their reward for the man that is coming into the truth and being awakened to the truth is not the love of the Most High. It's the love that they have yet to give up of their lustful nature. And I say that because, as I'm going to show you this clip, because of how they quote in the end times, how so many women, 7 women, will cling unto one man to, you know, for the women to take away their reproach. And I've thought about that. Why is there only a remnant, a smaller remnant, if you will, of men, and so many women to be saved in the end times, but a very small number of men? And it has been preached that these women are going to be cleaving to these men to save them from their own reproach, when there's only going to be a small remnant of men who even make it through the tribulation. This is something to make you wonder, to make you think, more in depth about. Well, let me say, I have thought more in depth about this, and why that aspect has been almost like a signing bonus, if you will, to come into the truth for men. And trust me, this has not only been used in this day and time for Israel, but for other religions, even for overseas. You've heard of men signing up for war, right? You've heard men signing up for war. And what and why would you hear about men signing up for war in other countries and strapping on bombs and walking into buildings and blowing themselves up, right? Or being blown up with bombs strapped on them. And um, not just the Arabians and Saudis, but we've heard of bombers that Japanese bombers who did the same thing and would get in airplanes and use their airplanes to dive and use it as a bomb. And what is the reason, you may ask? Why did they do that? Why would they sacrifice themselves for women? Yeah, for women. And what? This was used as a signing bonus. Yeah, blow yourself up, and once you get to heaven, will get 7 wives. It's always almost like a sex ploy for heaven to worship the Most High. Kazakami bombers, I believe, the Japanese used them. They told them, yeah, use your plane and dive in to, you know, we know that as Pearl Harbor, and they use their planes as bombs, and one of the motivations for them to kill themselves using their plane was women. To this, you'll have 7 wives in heaven. Motivation? Not to worship the Most High. Motivation? Sex. I'm not saying that just to say it. You do your own research on that. It's always the promise of 7 wives in heaven. So even in Israel in this day and time, that is the signing bonus to get most of these men to want to even worship the Most High. Because all that is on their mind is their 7 wives. But they don't even think that they may not even be the remnant that is left to even have 7 wives. You must think, contemplate for yourself why the Most High would spare so many women, but not as many men. This is why the women will cleave to the man. There won't be that many men left once the tribulation is over. But this has been the signing bonus, one of them for Israel, right? That has been spread around and seeded into the men's psyche. It's everywhere. But it's not just with the sex as the bonus. Because trust and believe, if we're going to be real, if we're going to be adults about these conversations that we are having across these social media platforms, it's about sex when it comes to the thoughts of 7 wives with these men. It's about sex and submission. We need to be real. And so we've had these farmers, and I'm calling them farmers because they've sowed seeds into young, pliable minds of men, Israel, black men, who have listened to the podcast of Fresh and Fit, who they are slowly demonetizing these platforms. And you know why? Because that part of the agenda is over. I have tried to warn you. I've tried to warn you. So these red pill platforms will slowly, but all will be demonetized and disregarded and thrown to the sidelines, because now they have the seeds sown, the lies spread, the monsters activated. I also wonder, because we know that messages are from the evil ones that run this world right now. We know that their messages are distributed throughout their entertainment. So I also wondered why there was so much controversy about The Woman King, the movie. And I heard different viewpoints. Like I like to listen and sit back and hear each side. one side, well, the woman king, she wasn't Israel, and there's no such thing as a woman king. But we know in the Bible of Deborah, who led armies, right? Why is there such a war? There's something deeper that's not being said, not being revealed. Why did they push the woman king out? So now I sit back and I hear different platforms. I hear this woman, uh, Princella, the Queen Maker, a podcaster coming through. And she's giving valid points, interesting points about the mindset of men and what has taken place. But the interesting thing with her platform is she may not be pushing homosexualism, but it seems as if because she is gay or whatever she chooses to reference herself as. So you have a lot of men who are upset about her saying and telling other women how men do not understand or cannot love, and different points, and bringing it from a scholarly point of view, not just saying things off the top of her head, and how men have a true, deep-seated hatred for the woman. But this is being seeded and grown and nurtured in our community, Black community, formerly known as Black Israel, how it's being seeded in the men, cultivated, that hate that's there, the jealousy that is there, how it's being cultivated in these men, and how it definitely was seeded by all of these red pill platforms. How men were so concerned about everything else that the Black woman was doing, but not concerned about educating their brothers, the men, on how to rebuild the community without browbeating the Black woman. Because that was not the solution, but that was the answer. So now we have monsters in the streets who are going around thinking that just because a Black woman says, no, you can't have my phone number, that they can pick up a brick and begin to browbeat her literally with a brick as other Black men stand around and watch and do nothing because they have been in the same field growing along with these corrupt crops. They are the GMOs of the nation. So, with that being said, I'm going to bring you to this clip that had just had my words. I'm gonna let you hear it first, so let me pull it up with her words so that you can hear what she says happened. So, no matter how I feel about everything, and it truly saddens me because to even get to the end, we got to go through all of this, right? And it saddens me, it sickens me, all of the above. So let me pull this up really quick. So, what have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men. It was like, what are you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding a brick. And all these niggas is watching. And nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face and they all just watching. And they let that nigga get in the corner. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? So, what I'm going to do is pause and then try to show you so you can research it for yourself. What is going on out here in our community, formerly known as Black people, Negroes, Israel. These podcast bros and red pill community have truly cultivated monsters. Monsters who are not high value men. Monsters who are not men who are making the levels of money that the lies that were told that they would make or should make, because they weren't making that and have yet to make it. The lies that were told that women should be submissive to these men when these women were not their wives. So they should not have to be submissive to these men because they're not their wives. The lies that these men are now walking around with, and the anger and the frustration that they have yet to deal with themselves because they have hit the wall. While they have said so many women will hit a wall. If you're 25 and up, you're this. And if you're 50, oh, well, you might as well go dig your own grave. When half the men are afraid to die alone themselves, when women are okay with being alone and dying alone. The men are the ones who are afraid of death. And now they're afraid that after the, what were they saying? All the Black women were divesting. Well, now it's another wave. These women are going to leave you all together, Black men. All together. They will not want to mess with you. You have put fear into them instead of protection. They will protect themselves. I'm going to tell you a story after we watch this video. Let me see if I can turn this around. Yeah, bear with me. You have lost your women, Black men. I tried to tell you, and it's only going to get worse. So this young lady was attacked by a black man who was upset because she would not give him her phone number. Have I ever done to anybody in my life to deserve this? I never did anything in my life to hurt anybody. Literally, a man asked me for my number. I said no, and he picked up a brick in front of so many men. It was like, what are you gonna do? And I told all these men, like, yo, why this man got a brick on my face? And he's holding a brick. And all these niggas is watching. And nobody does nothing. And he hits me in my face and they're all just watching. And they let that nigga get in the car. How is this okay? This is what y'all doing to women? I don't even care about it. Let me tell you something, you black men. Israel. Be more wise. Don't be like the children of the Pied Piper being led astray to your own demise. Which I feel that I am just literally talking to give some form of therapy to myself to heal my soul because I know it's too late. I've said this years ago. Years ago. Your women are leaving you. Your women are not just divesting into other relationships, other nations of men. But they will not want to have absolutely nothing to do with you. They've marched for you. They've stood on the front line for you. But yet and still you have allowed these corrupt farmers with their GMO seeds to corrupt your minds. And they look just like you. That's how you got played. You fell for the okie doke. Because those ones that sit on podcasts and looked all shiny and new to you, they look just like you. And you didn't realize half of them weren't you. They were sent agents. And they did exactly what they needed to do to the community. They knew they could not corrupt you and separate you even further from your women. Oh my goodness, how you fell for all of the deceit. And it sickens me. How weak can my black men be to fall for the okie doke of the enemy? You would rather attack your own women and think that you're doing something, that you're big, bad, and bold, while your enemy sits and laughs at you because you are a fool. You are the monsters that Second Esdras speaks about. Well, you won't make it to the end. Because the men that arise and stands up now and realize, shake the shackles off your minds. Shake the shackles off your minds. Don't eat and drink of your enemies' food and the red Kool-Aid. That's why there will only be a remnant, a smaller remnant of men in the end than women. Our reproach you make to seem like that is something that is negative. You might want to wake up and see that it might be your reproach. Because there will only be a remnant of men that will survive this. Not a number of men. A remnant. We only need a small group of men to repopulate this planet. Wake up. We only need a small group of men to repopulate this planet. You need to recognize the team who you want to be a part of. We only need one man to 7 women. How many children can that bring forth? Do not fall prey to your enemy's devices. Silly rabbits. You want to make the woman seem so less. We only need one man to 7 women. There will be more women to repopulate. Hell, if the Most High wanted it, it can only be one. Think about it. Why are there less men in the end times to repopulate the planet for the new kingdom than women? Wake up and stop drinking your enemy's food and wine. God, help us all. You men are the ones that are about to be wiped out, and you will be the ones that won't have the women, because they will turn their backs, and they are turning their backs on you. So the prize are going to be the women if you even make it through the tribulation. But most of you won't even see it, because you think that you're a high value man in 2023. You can't even. Use your cognitive development that most of you have. I'm sure some of you still were able to develop your brain. Use it. Don't be played like a sucker. Don't think that you want to serve the Most High because you're going to have 7 wives in heaven. You just might make it in by the skin of your teeth to be so blessed to help repopulate this earth. And trust me, it has been regenerated. This is the last cycle. While you out here not wanting to protect black women, cool. The protection will come. And for you Israel men who are promoting having 7 wives, and we're going to make it plain, you're promoting it as sex trafficking, candy to children, the mind of a man. 7 wives you'll have, they'll cling to you, begging you to be their wives. 7 of them. Why don't you look the opposite way? Why is there less men? Because the majority of you won't make it. If we were to look to nature, the majority of the male species in nature are selected by the female. And a lot of them don't make it. They do not make the cut to procreate with the female. Wake up. This is not about your tallywhacker getting to choose and have 7 women cling on to you just because you look good. This next round is about procreation of the kingdom. The finest and the fittest of the male. The one who truly serves the Most High and didn't have it in the back of their mind that they were going to some kind of orgy in the end times because they were going to have 7 women clinging onto them, begging them to take their reproach away. Research those words and the origins of words. Don't be played. But most of you will still have ego. Will keep your ego. Fight against the system that's getting ready to come into play and see how you come out on the other end. Oh, well, that's if you make it. If you are selected, my brothers, to come out on the other end. And I'm out in much, much love.